business, and life. We invite you along to join Josh and Skippy on this journey. This is Monday Morning Food Truck.
Powered by Riverside.
Good morning, Skippy. Oh, Skippy's not here. Skippy's coming. He's having some problems with his computer. I personally think it's drugs involved, and I'll let him explain that. But yes, Skippy is currently drugged up. For those that don't know, he had an incident, so he's on some painkillers, and should make for a very interesting show. Hope you all had a great 4th of July week. Posted on Facebook this morning, wondering who worked, who didn't work. We'll get into some of what we did over the week. We kind of did a little bit of both. We worked through the 5th of July, so through Friday, and then we closed down Saturday, Sunday. Today, obviously, which is a normal day off, and then we'll be closed tomorrow. So everybody got 4 days off. Looking forward to having, at some point, the staff that we can run that whole time without having to give everybody some time off. But in order to do that, we need the sales to justify and to justify doing that. So I think Skippy is trying to get in right now. Hold on, everybody. And there he is.
Maybe. We're having an issue with camera.
I can hear you, which is good. I don't know that we want to see you, but
I got things to show.
Oh, I know you do, and I'm guessing part of this is drug induced. Your issues with trying to get in.
No, it's more of just.
I hope.
Trying to sync up schedules.
I hope you are high as a kite, because that would be an excellent episode today.
I am not. I don't.
God damn it!
I don't like taking medication to begin with.
Come on, Skippy. It's for the people.
I completely understand.
It's for the show. We need viewers.
I have.
Desperately, we need you people.
It says close all tabs and reload the page. I don't want to close the tab.
Well, you might have to, Skipward.
Well, our guest will be here at 9:45, in case you want to know.
It would have been great to know earlier.
Oh. Completely would have, absolutely.
So I could have prepped it all, but
I got you.
Good morning, Bernie.
Don't worry about that. All right, I will be right back.
Oh my God!
Just talking about yourself, like you know.
No, I'll talk about you. It's a lot more fun. Hurry up! All right, Skippy's continued issues with technology. We will have a guest, I guess, later this afternoon. So or later this morning. Excellent. Which means we're gonna have to kind of rush, I think, through our weeks because there was a lot going on and we have a lot to talk about. Skippy is maybe back. Let's see. And that's, kid, is why you never ever. Oh, hi. Good morning,
Guess
Skippy.
who's back? Back again. Skippy's back with a broken leg.
That'll be a good clip. Thank you. I appreciate you. Oh, yeah. Bush Light.
That was a Fresca's. Yeah. Okay.
Well,
where'd you leave off?
You gave yourself a nice little vacation, so I figured maybe you're drinking it up. And
this is an unwanted vacation.
Well,
this is a very unwanted vacation.
I have told them nothing. We have started nothing. I've just been rambling and bambling, waiting for you to come back. So
for everybody who wants to know, we do have a guest today at 9:45. Kurt Mueller with Ironhead Barbecue. He'll be popping in to kind of give us. He operates underneath a tent and sets up on the side of the road somewhere. So,
Ironhead Barbecue.
Ironhead. From what I remember, he worked in the financial services industry for quite a while. lived in St. Louis, and now he's in
North Augusta, South Carolina.
South Carolina, yep. So he's got 2 boys that help him, and he's big on social media. I met him at the Famous Dave's contest last year. He was the quote unquote celebrity pitmaster.
Yeah.
But anyway,
All right.
so that's our guest. Be good to get a good perspective for somebody who doesn't really operate out of a trailer, even though he does have one, but operates all his sales basically out of a tent. Big
Cool.
on social media. Yep. So we had a good week last week.
Good. You want to start with yours?
Let's leave the good to the end. We'll for everybody watching on YouTube, we'll tease the viewers. We can start with mine. I don't care. Whatever you want. You're the boss. I'm just here.
Let's start with yours.
I'm here for comedic entertainment.
Let's start with yours, Faker.
Can I tell you? I wish I was faking right now. Okay, so we intended and intentionally had a short week. I honestly just wanted to take time off. It was holiday week. We find that holiday weeks, depending on the holiday, can lead to lower sales. So I'm like, well, I got stuff to do around the house. I got a trailer that needs a good deep clean, so let's figure it out. And worked Tuesday. I can't remember what I did Tuesday.
Drugs, kids.
No. We had our food truck Tuesday downtown. We did our burger menu. That's right. We did our burger menu. We had limited barbecue menu, and we did our burger menu. We cooked 48 smoked brisket burgers.
Hold on just a second. A couple quick good mornings to Pam,
Hi,
who
Pam.
is finally catching us live again, and Daniel Jacob, who rarely catches us live and just happened to find us on TikTok today. So good.
Daniel Jacob. Isn't that the quarterback?
Don't say bad things.
No, it's the quarterback of the Giants. Isn't it Daniel Jacobs?
I don't know.
I gotta look it up.
If it is, he's not going to be around very long.
Well, no quarterback for the Giants is ever around. Real
Daniel Jones.
Oh, yeah, close enough.
Thanks, Daniel Jacob.
So we ran our burger menu because there were three other barbecue trucks there at this event. Basically made limited barbecue, cooked 48 burgers, sold about 35 of them, and then sold out of our barbecue. So my thought is I probably should have just kept barbecue going. But anyway, it's something to. It was an experiment. Still made money. That's all that matters.
Can we expand on that just for real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I'm sure you know my thoughts.
I know your thoughts. Well, I can only imagine your thoughts. I believe I know them.
So you didn't. So when you originally posted, I figured you were going to do just burgers. So I'm glad that you still had barbecue. You still had your full regular menu,
Yes.
just in limited amounts.
Yeah, the only thing I think I didn't do, I can't remember to be honest with you, is cheesy potatoes.
Okay. So really, you just ran a special of burgers. You didn't turn into a burger truck for a day.
No, we did run. We were trying to emphasize that because I did want to.
You were pushing burgers,
Correct.
or that you had burgers because of the other barbecue trucks.
Yes.
Okay. I have no problems.
Oh, good.
Other than you went light on barbecue because there was other barbecue trucks there.
I did.
Do you have faith in your product, Skippy?
I do, and that's why I kept it there. Is I wanted to.
Then cook the normal amount and kick those other guys' asses.
I know. It's just
Don't give them extra business. You gave them extra business.
I don't think I gave them extra business.
Sure you did. Where did the people that wanted you go after you ran out of barbecue? Did they just not eat?
No, I didn't run out of barbecue actually until the end. So it was a 2-hour lunch. So
All right.
no, we were okay.
Okay.
I did what I had hoped to do anyway. So
All right.
at the point that's all that mattered to me. But it's another option if somebody wants burgers and they know that I'm a one-stop shop kind of thing. But anyway, so there's
Okay.
that. I mean, they were really good.
I'm sure they were.
So we took Wednesday off, and then had our fireworks event on Thursday. And fireworks event was supposed to be like 4 to 9, 4 to 10, whatever, 4 to 9. Now that it doesn't get dark until almost 10 o'clock anyway.
Mm-hmm.
The coffee truck was going down there early, so I said, hey, I got my food all done. Let's just go down there. Or I asked if I can go down there at like 11 because there was a cornhole tournament going on. So I'm like, all right, let's go down there. And we had like 10 sales, did like $200. And then it was pretty dead from like 3 to 5. And then we rocked it out at 5. There was another barbecue truck there. We kicked their ass. That's what I like to see. Didn't get home until like 11. And I think I texted you the next day. So I had put
You texted me multiple things over the course of that week.
Yes.
Some colorful language.
So when I left, or after I got done with the meat for the day, I put 2 briskets on because I had catering gig the next day.
Mm-hmm. 2 drop-offs.
2 drop-offs. We'll get to that in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the 2 briskets I had on, they were both about, after trimming, about 12 pounds apiece. I was going to save a little bit for myself. So when I get home, it was then 14 hours later from when I put those briskets on at 225. And to say they were overcooked is an understatement. But I wrapped them up, threw them in my warmer, and went to bed. Anyway, so the next day, the lady wanted sliced brisket. Let's say I was able to get a half pan of slice. The rest was chopped. It was drier than a bone.
Yeah.
Luckily, I had some butcher's prime dust and some beef consomme and made a little au jus since I didn't have anything from the wrap. And she said it was the best brisket they ever had, which is great, which makes me feel bad and good at the same time.
So back to you didn't have any jus from the wrap.
Just because I cooked it open the whole time, and then when I wrapped it.
So with your new smoker, you're not doing anything in pans. Everything's right on the racks.
Correct.
Yeah.
I don't normally do anything in pans anyway.
Yeah, and that's the biggest reason we do. Is because that juice is so valuable. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Even with the fat separated, everybody, all the flavors in the jus, not in the fat.
Yeah.
Trust me. Try it and then get back to me if I'm wrong. But
yeah,
so when we do competitions, we would cook straight on the rack until we wrapped, and then we would wrap it, and then we would put it in pans to hold all that juice, just to make sure we didn't lose any. But
that's how I do it normally.
Okay.
But with the rotisserie, I wasn't, and
okay.
I would have actually probably if I was still home, but I wasn't. I didn't have a chance to unhook my trailer and then be able to pull out, and so I could go home and take care of it.
Yep.
Anyhow, so Friday comes around. Friday's a big day. Had 2 catering drop-offs. Cooked. Had 9 racks of ribs to cook. Had some chicken quarters, some wings.
I tell you, my concept of time right now is so screwed up from last week and this week. Like you're saying Friday, and like in my head it was Saturday.
Correct, me too.
Because it's catering. It's like
yes, I was the same exact way.
All last week and currently, I'm still screwed up. So sorry.
Yeah. No, you're.
I'm like looking at my calendar. I'm like, you're doing catering on Friday?
Yeah, Friday the 5th. How about that?
Yes.
Is that better?
Okay. Sure.
Anyway, so one of them was for somebody that had ordered food the week before, and I delivered it. She said it was so good that she wanted to order it again. All right, so I got done with 2 sides. Now, the trailer I have has a side door. That's the in and out door. And it's got a step down step, and then I bought a fold up step to put outside. Just because it is kind of taller off the ground. And to, again, show everybody, I now have a pair of these. Ooh, that's a good one. I I had a pan of green beans in my left hand. Yes. So I came out of my trailer on my right leg. The back legs of my fold-up step went like this. Like they didn't want to be part of the step anymore. And somehow the way my other leg, my left leg caught me, so I didn't fall. But somehow the top of this step or my leg came together and it like road rashed my shin. So right now I have a lot of fluid and a lot of swelling in the top of my knee.
Yeah, you do.
Along with, it's quite ugly.
Well, at least it matches the rest of you.
I mean, for sure. Because me, I think I gained 5 pounds over the weekend.
Are you gonna share your leg pictures?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'm logging in.
Here's your warning, everybody.
Yeah, if you're a little squeamish,
Extreme content coming. It's not that bad, everybody. Yeah. It's a swollen leg.
It's not bad, but it shows.
He's wearing clothes for the most part.
It shows the difference in. Please hold.
This fucking flies driving me nuts.
This was the week, or this was the day of. Share screen. I'm sure that did it.
Well, fucker's still there. Get away! God.
Hasn't your cleaning guy come yet today?
That's next week.
Now you lost an eye.
I mean, I have a black eye. I hit myself pretty hard.
All right. So
everything for the viewers, man. So which one's the bad one?
Well, as you can see, I'm not wearing capris that day. This one is the bad one. It is definitely much more swollen than the other one is.
Nice cracks.
Calves. You know what? That didn't help at all.
No, they're the worst.
I didn't slip. That's the problem. Is like the grip of my Crocs still like kept my foot on there, and that's what. Anyway, so I felt like I died for a good half a second. Well, probably a good 2 minutes. I yelled some extreme things. I was really hoping that my neighbor heard me because she's a nurse. I really don't care if she's with child currently or not. I really hope she heard me, but she did not. Anyway, so nothing's broken. So that's good. I have no idea why they did a CT scan. That doesn't make any sense to me because MRIs show much more, but
based on when I thought I tore my meniscus, I'm gonna guess they had easier access to a CT than MRI.
Probably. That's fine. Except the lady who freaking took me there was like Daytona 500 lady and trying to get through every door, and I felt like I was in a bumper car. I wanted to yell out to her, "Robin's racing."
That's right.
And the most ironic thing was that when I went to the ER, they put me in the overflow section, which happened to be the psych ward.
No, I don't. I think they just called it overflow.
Yeah, probably
for you.
I said, so if I say I start talking to myself, do I get seen faster? So it was like 40 minutes to get seen by a doctor who came in, literally looked at my knee, said, "Yep, see a lot of swelling." Ordered X-rays. It was another 45 minutes for X-rays. Luckily, they use my chart, which means the X-rays get uploaded so I can see them. And me trying to
TikTok, it is original content. It's live. It's me. Jesus Christ! Get the same warning again. I think
because I shared my screen.
No, I think it's because the little picture I have for the live stream is Monday Morning Food Truck logo, which doesn't match with the Sweet Racks and Smoking Butts name of. Yeah, I'll probably have to. So, oh well. Fuck you, TikTok. China.
The top of my knee is so warm because of the fluid. That I try to ice it, it melts the ice. Like
Nice.
The aftercare says ice it for 20 to 30 minutes every 2 to 4 hours. It does not last more than 10.
Well, the only logical next step is dry ice.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do that. I don't want my leg to fall off. I can tell you this was probably the most scared I've ever been, being in the hospital like that, because my wife had to go. So knowing that like this year could be over before it really even got started. Not to mention I have my biggest festival of the year coming up this weekend, and I'm trying to navigate that. I'm working on it. But yeah, right now I'm just waiting for the ortho doc to respond.
But you got your catering dropped off?
I did, yes. So I was sitting there on my step and I could move the fluid around to my knee. I'm like, well, this probably isn't good, but I got shit to do.
Yeah.
So I did not spill the green beans. I hobbled back in my trailer and grabbed another piece of foil because nobody was home, and came out, picked them up, just rewrapped them in foil. I only split the foil a little bit. Called my wife. I said, hey, where you at? She's like, why? What happened? I'm like, I fell, hurt my knee pretty good. She's like, oh my God, I'll be home soon. She just got done in the tanner. And she helped me drop it off. And I was honest with the lady. I called her. I said, hey, I took a tumble outside my trailer. We're going to be about a half hour late. She's like, it's okay. Nobody's eating until 1. So 12:30, 12:45, you're good.
Good.
So when I showed up and I said, okay, I'm my own worst critic. So here's what I'm going to tell you. The brisket, I did overcook it. I know you want it, all sliced. Get that. Ow!
Keep talking. Why are you stopping for me?
Because that's just anyway. So I looked at her. I said, you got a half pan of sliced and a half pan of chopped. So here's some rolls that I bought you for some slider buns. And she's like, oh, that's perfect. Thank you. She wasn't expecting it. So
Nice.
But I followed up with her, followed up with the other guy. I had to have my buddy come over and cut 9 racks of ribs for me. And then his wife, my helper, to deliver it. And of course, she got lost. and they wanted food by 4 o'clock, but they weren't eating till 7. Like,
Okay.
So she just told him, put it in the oven, lowest setting. Anyway, so he said it was good, and then texted me, how's the knee? Like, not good. Glad your food was good though.
Yeah.
I had 3 events this week. I have found replacements for those events. So I'm going to concentrate on recovery and then worry about this weekend and see what
When you say events, are you talking catering or just roadside stuff?
Just special events. So like Tasty Tuesday kind of events.
Okay.
So I reached out to a newer food truck and I said, hey, I tried your food. I thought it was good. I'd be comfortable giving you my spot if you want it. And they're like, absolutely. So I reached out and I said, hey, new kids on the block, but their food is good. They're like, oh, appreciate the recommendation. Yay. So.
Welcome. You got porked barbecue on the TikTok.
The TikTok.
The TikTok. All right, my appeal. I appealed again. Approved.
Oh, good job.
Yeah. Restrictions removed.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, TikTok. Appreciate you.
So the story of the day or story of the weekend was I made the deliveries, and that's all that mattered.
That is all that matters. Glad to hear it, bud.
So now I'm in a knee immobilizer, and I can't drive because I can't put my foot in there because I'm really short-legged. And of course, the knee immobilizer they gave me goes all the way up to my boys and all the way down to my ankle because I'm short.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't give me a smaller one. Yeah, so that's where I'm at. Sucks.
Good. Sorry to hear that, buddy. I'm sorry you had a rough go there.
I'm still scared. But
It'll be fine. So, I mean, is this the point where you now seriously look at getting yourself a Chris?
Maybe.
Yep, you do. Because it doesn't take much to
I was supposed to have
Lose,
a meeting. Supposed to have a meeting with the cafe this weekend too, and I had to postpone that.
yeah. I mean, especially if that is an opportunity that you are going to pursue and do, you need somebody that you can have run one or the other without you.
Oh, I know
So-
that part I know.
Yeah.
And that part's gonna happen. It's the when. I mean, I can hold interviews now, but it's like, okay. So we had Brandon from Num Num Ninja on our podcast, and he's got 3-4 trailers, whatever. The cops coming to get you, bud?
Did you hear the siren?
I did too.
So that's been happening. Just the quick woo woo woo, like for the last hour and a half. Just at random times, I hear. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
There's somebody out there with one of those like megaphones that have all those
Probably.
sounds on there. So we had Brandon Num Num Ninja. He works his business, or he works in his business. He doesn't run the truck at all,
Mhm.
but he has people that he has tow vehicles and puts people in charge.
Yep.
I only have one tow vehicle. It's mine. So it's like having somebody pull that without me in it,
Mhm.
is just
Scary.
something it's definitely something.
It's scary. It's okay,
Very,
yeah.
Very. No matter how much you trust the person, it's still scary. Because I can tell you that the people that guy hires to pull his trailers don't know a lot. They scare the shit out of me. So anyway, I'd rather have the cafe open and have somebody run that. I can still pull my own damn trailer.
But I mean, and then if something happens where you're sick, or we've talked about that before. I said, "What do you do if you're sick?" She's like, "I just don't go." All right. Wouldn't you rather be able to still run? You'd be able to take a day off or something and recover, or And that was the big thing for me is I couldn't afford to lose a half a season or lose a week.
Fuck, I should have. My buddy works for a local fire department as a paid on call kind of guy, and he's got Aflac insurance. I'm like, shit, that'd have been great right about now.
Yeah.
So for all you self-employed people, if you don't know what Aflac is, other than just you see the duck and Nick Saban and all that, Aflac will pay you depending on what. I don't know if it's just a flat or like it comes with every one of their plans or whatever, but if you're out, it'll cover your income, and it will also pay your medical bills outside of whatever your insurance pays.
Right.
So think about that, because I kind of kicking myself in the ass for not taking it.
Playing kick the can over there.
I am. I hear that too.
I hear everything.
So how was your monster week?
Well, now that I got 15 minutes to talk about it, Jesus. So
Jingle
far
bells now?
we're down 1.5% from last July. The fuck. Yeah.
That was me
So-
knocking off a quarter on the floor. Sorry.
Yep, we're down 1.5% in sales, month to month. Or
Really?
yeah, it's like $200. And that's comparing 4 days to 6 days last year. 4 days this year, 6 days last year. So, us having an extended few days off and still being able to match more or less sales from last year, I'm okay with that. So, I fielded a few phone calls this weekend asking if we were open and where we were open. So probably could have run in some of our usual weekend spots and done okay. I'm almost positive we could have. And that's where I think we'll have, once we get a couple more people, part-time people, that us closing down fully for 4 days isn't going to be really necessary. So we'll be able to run other staff for those days. And, so anyways, all in all, it was a good week. Tuesday, we had our normal Dutton stuff. And and then Byron Center Movies in the Park. Their first year running it. First year running it, this was their second week doing it. When I got there, I heard some less than stellar reviews from the first week from another food truck, that I should not expect huge crowds. And there was an additional food truck there the week we were there versus the first week. So the organizer came by and got us parked, and asked him how it went the first time. And he said, good. We got about 20% of the people that said they were interested on Facebook. I said, okay. He said, we had 5 times as many people say they were interested this time. So we're kind of figuring the same math. So we're probably expecting about 500 people. It's like, all right. So 3 entree trucks for 500 people. I'm like, all right. It's not going to be crazy busy, but it's enough for us to have a decent evening, potentially, you know. I think we ended up doing about 50 transactions, did about $600. Left there right just before the movie started at 9:00. We all left except for Big Mike's Popcorn, who I saw then later in the week at Food Truck Friday. Asked what we did for the day. I told him. He said, I beat a barbecue truck. He said they got slammed right after the movie started. I said, you're selling fucking popcorn at a movie.
Right. Yeah.
Shocker. But yeah, he really prides himself in beating barbecue trucks in sales. So
I mean, I'm
letting him have it.
I understand it.
Mike's a good friend of ours. We see him a lot. So happy for him. And he is just got his first trailer. He's been working out of a tent ever since they started 6 years ago or whatever. Just doing kettle corn. So he just bought his first trailer. I saw it. Yep, I saw it at the movies. Was the first time they rolled it out. So he kept asking me questions about what was vibrating or how things worked, and he said he's burning through a lot of propane, more than he expected to, and wanted to know if it was the water heater maybe. So it's on demand. I said, you're not using that much propane for on demand. When you're not using it, it's not. I said, that's the only thing running on our truck on propane, and we fill our 2 tanks once. Like we had them filled 2 months ago. We're not going to fill them again until probably June next year.
Yeah, even
So-
mine, my 100-pound tank goes through my steam table and that propane burner probably every 2 months.
Yeah.
So what else does he have in there?
So his kettle corn maker runs off propane. So and it's a new one. He hasn't used it before. So he's not sure if maybe it's just using more than he thought it would. But he was worried about gas leaks. I said, you'd smell it. 100% you'd smell that. So I don't think you're going to blow up. I'm glad there's another truck in between us.
Yeah, right. A lot of fire departments will have you're required to put an LP detector in it.
Yep.
I had to do mine. That's good.
Yep. Yeah, cut a break with the weather on Tuesday. Wednesday was supposed to be a pretty rainy morning to early afternoon. So we pulled into the airport viewing area, which already had a lower food truck number just because of the week it is, and a lot of food trucks are off that week, at least in Grand Rapids. So we pull in. Chris said he was the only one there when he pulled in. We got there early, but I think he said like a half an hour before sales were supposed to start, before anybody else showed up. So it was just us and just a hot dog truck and then a Kona ice truck. And that was it. So there was one no show. There were supposed to be 3 entree trucks, 1 no show. So just us and hot dogs. And we did, I think I think I sent it to you, $1,800 for lunch, something like that.
Yeah.
from 10 to 3 or whatever.
Good lunch.
Yeah, not a bad lunch. And then we went on to our only good apartment complex, the Grand Castle Apartments, and sold out there.
Yeah, it's weird though. Is you only did like another $700.
Yeah, just another $700. We rolled in without ribs, without brisket. Like the manager of the complex came out, bought the rest of the ribs, bought the rest of the brisket before we even up. Like as we pulled in, he had a list. So that was just pork from that point. So, and then Thursday, the 4th of July, we've had mixed results on 4th of July. So we were a little wary going into this event. East Grand Rapids 4th of July celebration. When we booked it, we were under the impression that it was just a 10 to 4 event, that there was nothing after it. So there's a parade, there's bounce houses, there's a ski show on the lake that we're by. And we get, we find out that there's a band going on at 8:00, and then fireworks afterwards. But so there's a lull between 4 and 7, and then 7:00 people start coming back to the park for the concert, and that we're more than welcome to stay. I said, well, I don't have food for that. It turns out we didn't have food for the daytime event either. So yeah, we did 2,500. We did the same number of transactions as the day before, and I think sales were only separated by $30 or something like that. So yeah, we were opened at 10. Parade started at noon, so we did a couple $100 each hour until the parade was over, and then we ended up at a $2,500 day. In the next hour and a half after that, I think we did a $1,400 hour, $1,300 hour, something like that. With a few other trucks there, we had the line, basically, is what we were told. It was our line. So the person that booked us, the organizer, came by about a half hour before we were supposed to be done. I said, I'm so sorry. She's like, for what? I said, we ran out of food.
Yeah, I get that. Like, I get that all the time. They're like, I said, I'm sorry, because at the fireworks we sold out, and they're like, good for you.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know, but I really wanted you to try some.
Yeah.
Like, you feel bad for a second, and you're like, oh, well, I still did good. So
she's like, it's the first time I've seen a line down at the grilled cheese truck, so it's probably good for everybody else. So I said, okay. She's like, I don't know what you guys are doing next year, 4th of July, if you haven't booked already. She said, but we'd love to have you back. I said,
that's good.
We're there, and we'll probably try to stay for the concert, at least until the concert starts, to get that crowd coming into the concert. Because we've usually had pretty good luck at those community concert things. So we'll try to scrape in another 1,000 or so. So Daniel, I saw your question. I'm going to get to it in just a second. And then, Friday, we had Food Truck Friday, which we weren't sure how that was going to go. We caught a break with the weather. Storms kept shifting out of the area.
Yeah. We got like 5 minutes north. It on 4th of July, it poured, but where we were, didn't do anything. But I mean, like, same county.
Yeah.
Did not rain whatsoever. But when I was driving home, I noticed that everything was wet, and I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, we have had tremendous luck with weather this year for us. For where we're setting up in times and stuff, and I know at some point it's going to change. And there are some questionable days this week, but I'm hoping we could continue the good luck streak. So we've been very fortunate so far. But Food Truck Fridays was as expected, with it being a big travel week. Grand Rapids not doing their fireworks on Friday. They did them on Saturday, I think. Mm-hmm. But we did, I think 2,500 again, something like that. So we did 75 in 3 days.
Real good.
Nothing I'm complaining about, really. We hit 10 grand for the week, which was the goal for the week. To kind of keep pace with last year, July. So yeah, good week overall. Had an interesting conversation with Lauren from Patty Matters, who I brought up on the show before. She doesn't seem to want to be on the podcast, but whatever. Not sure if she listens or not, but we'd love to have you, Lauren. And I'm going to share what you told me, because you can be mad at me later. So we were talking about how we did for June, and she's like, yeah, I missed my goal by 7 grand. I said, no, we only missed ours by 1. She's like, what was your goal? I said, 60. She's like, mine was 100.
Jesus H.
So I said, excuse me, you did 93 in a month. I just threw my hands up and walked away. I was like,
So can I just say something?
uh-huh.
That's a lot of freaking burgers. Like, we think we cook a lot. That's a lot.
And that's active cooking in service. I mean, so she runs 2 trucks.
I was gonna say that's 2 trucks. All right.
And she's, I mean, a lot of events, a lot of private events, and she is the OG truck in Grand Rapids. So,
huge following.
Yeah, huge following. She's
if
been nominated for
it.
Yeah. And that's what Chris was saying. She's like, oh, yeah, we'd beat that if we had 2 trucks. I was like, you can't just double our sales.
Yep. Absolutely. It's called wishful thinking, buddy.
Yeah. Not falling into that trap. But yeah, I think.
So do you think with 1 truck you could get there?
To 90?
Yeah.
If everything was perfect.
So,
like we didn't have any slow days.
So if Etna was every day.
Yes. If we had Etna every day, we'd definitely hit it. No, I mean, everything just would have to be perfect. We couldn't have any slow days. Whatever we projected per day, we would have to hit.
Yeah.
And that's just not a thing. So
it's amazing.
Anyways, Daniel wanted to know what I smoke on. It's a
piece of shit.
It is a Deep South GC60. So
they're no
it's
longer in business. You cannot find them anymore.
Gravity fed. If you can find them on Facebook, I would recommend having one for personal use. Not great for commercial use. They are definitely not meant to run every day. And nice. He wanted to know from you, Skippy, if you constantly add wood to the Old Hickory or just in the beginning.
I do not use an Old Hickory. I use it's called a FEC 300 and a Rectech. So I use pellets. So technically, yes, I'm adding wood all the time.
A wood product.
I am adding a wood product every time I smoke, every couple minutes. Now, so I run pellet cookers mainly because of the overnight, and also they're meant to last. So I, speaking of that, I did have a problem with the new cooker. Did I mention that last time? So I don't
remember. Oh yeah, the rack.
Yeah,
the rack that you broke.
So I did not break it. I called Fast Eddie's Cook Shack, and they told me, yeah, it's called a keyway. I'm like, and of course, the first thing I said was, what's a keyway? He said, I don't know, a couple ounces. I'm like, all right,
Jesus
good.
Christ.
Like we can. Well, have you ever heard that joke? What's a handway? Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway. So basically, it's just a little piece of metal that slides in to a set screw that keeps it tight, and that's all it was. So I went to my local. He's like, yeah, if that came out, it probably is in the bottom of your cooker somewhere. I'm like, well, I don't have time to clean that out now. So I just put it in there, and it worked perfectly. So I was able to go to my local tractor supply company and pick one up. They're basically for axles, just to keep them from non-rotating.
Just like a cotter pin type of thing.
Very similar.
Yeah. One would work in a pinch.
One would work in a pinch.
Excellent. And then we had posted on Facebook about how people did for July. Jason Scanlon said he had a record-breaking month for June. July started off with a bang as well. Pun. On-site catering most days in the brutal heat was tough, but busy week this week means onward and upward. Love hearing numbers and talk business. How are you guys holding up with labor percentages for the months?
Great.
Yeah, Skippy has no labor. With crazy supply costs, are you guys constantly checking food cost and price adjusting accordingly? No, I do not. My prices are set.
Hold on. We do check food cost, but we don't change our prices very regularly.
I don't check. Ignorance is bliss.
You just buy and hope for the best.
That's right. I don't know about you, but I'm not seeing huge swings in anything really. Pork would probably be the biggest one, and it's still not awful. It's not like it's a $3 difference
so
one week to the next.
Yeah, I'm seeing like 30 cents a pound for brisket and probably 50 cents a pound for pork.
Yeah, and that's
huge. Ribs have not moved at all.
Yeah,
like ribs have moved. Chicken it really hasn't moved too much either. Yeah,
and all these are acceptable acceptable swings for me. It's within a range that we're still doing okay. So
Like I don't know how wing trucks are operating. I don't know how Buffalo Wild Wings is. They've raised their prices so much right now. I think they're charging almost $18 for like 6 wings.
So I'm halfway through the year now, or next week, or this week here we'll mark the halfway point of our season. I have not run wings once.
I haven't either. I've run them. I've made them for catering, but I have not run them on the truck for a special or anything.
A couple more questions from Daniel. I want to get to Jason's. I'm going to look for those numbers. My payroll or my labor percentages. I know Square pulls it or will show it to you, but I think it also includes tips, which is stupid. As payroll paid. But I'm going to look for those numbers too. Daniel said, sorry for all the questions. After cooking barbecue, do you hold in a warmer and shred chop per order? No. So
kind of.
Well, we pull all our pork probably about 2 hours before lunch service, or at least part of it. We'll hold a couple butts whole for dinner, just in case we need it. And then, we'll slice brisket right before open. Brisket and ribs will get sliced right before open. We wait as long as possible. But everything holds fine. Everything, you're going to lose a little bit of color, but nothing, it's not going to turn gray or anything. And then he says he's paying $5.70 a pound for prime brisket. I don't know if you got a Costco by you or if that is the Costco price, but I'm $4.40 a pound.
I'm 420 or 430.
Yeah, that general vicinity.
Like 418, 420. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do something a little bit different now. I am not pulling. The only thing I'm doing ahead of time is I'm slicing brisket, like right when I get on site. Typically, I am. Hold on. Our guest is downloading the app right now, by the way.
Okay. Daniel, our Costco has it off and on, but the Costco, the choice briskets they get are pretty damn close to prime briskets you're going to get other places. Just keep that in mind.
Check Sam's too.
They're at the high end of the grading scale for those.
So I am taking a butt out of the warmer for service, dumping it into my steam pan that I have a liner into, and then just shredding it inside that. I keep it whole. I try to keep everything as whole as possible. Same thing for ribs. I'll keep them whole and then slice to order.
And for me, it's just time. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with dirty cutting boards out or dirty surfaces. So we do it all ahead of time.
No labor cost equals disposable cutting boards.
Bernie says, does your business insurance have the lost wages as part of it? Mine does. And when we had a minor smoker fire where we had to shut down for a day, I did not ask about it. I should have, but yeah,
I don't even know. I gotta check.
Yeah, it's good to have. I'm not sure how they pay that out. If you have to prove some sort of, because I mean we're not on payroll, so it's, I don't know.
Bank statements, maybe.
Lost sales.
Bank statements is how they used to do it for mortgages. Yeah. If you had a bank statement and a pulse, you got a mortgage back in the day.
I'm probably getting close to that again. So here comes the crash. Looking forward to it. It's coming. The crash is coming. It's coming.
They actually raised rates for the first time since May.
Crash is coming.
Can't
wait. Maybe I'll actually afford a building sometime soon.
I mean, it's possible.
I got my eye.
Your eyes open?
I got my eye on something.
Well, no. You just got to use the same thing I do. No agreements have been signed.
This would not be an agreement with another business.
Oh.
This would be on our own.
Oh, it would not be a lease is what you're saying?
It would be a lease of the building, but not shared with another business.
Correct. Well, cheers to that.
A question for Pam, I guess, if Pam is available to answer said question, or she's willing to, because I'm sure Denny's right next to you, Pam. At what point do we go from LLC to an S corp? Because I know there's tax advantages for S corp. Tax at a lower rate.
I'm surprised you're not already an S corp.
Yeah, I need to be. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that at that point will be the point where they stop looking at personal credit and just look at business credit. Because right now, anytime I apply for a loan, they're digging into my personal credit for it and using that number instead of the business's number, which the business credit's phenomenal.
Well, at least it should be.
It is. It's perfect.
How do you know?
You can pull it.
Huh.
There's services that'll tell you your business credit score. The only knock on our business credit score is the line of business that it is.
Yeah.
That it shows it as a medium risk business.
Well, it is. It's a restaurant.
Yeah. So, but after that, I mean, we have a lot of stuff in the business's name for payments and stuff, and everything's been perfect. So, yeah, I don't know if switching to S corp fixes that problem, because I don't want anything running off my personal credit,
No.
So, that's kind of the whole idea, is you get that separation. And it's not like, 7-Eleven is running the CEO's credit for expansion purposes.
I did get a 5-star Google review.
Oh, good, buddy.
I like reviews.
I know you do. You're a big fan.
So one thing my lovely spouse doesn't understand is each person kind of has their own way of, like, I'm not gonna say learning, maybe, but like, as a salesperson, I always want to see my name in lights. Like, that's my goal as a sales guy. I don't want to be that guy who just goes balls to the wall but doesn't get any recognition for it. I love recognition. I will always love recognition. A lot of people don't understand why that's important, but it's definitely important to me.
I understand why it's important to some people. It's not why I do it, but Kurt is in the lobby waiting.
Oh,
so if you want to wrap up your thought real quick, go ahead.
No, that was my thought. I just
okay.
For some people it doesn't matter. For a lot of other people it does, and you have to learn how to communicate with those people.
Jason, to answer your question about my labor percentage for the year, right now we're at 15.84. So I will take that. Not bad at all.
Not bad.
Wait, or is that July? Oh, that's for July. Let me pull the whole year. Hold on.
Jesus.
Sorry, I don't pull. This is not a report I usually pull. For the year, we're at 14.66.
Even better.
Yep. Even better. So yeah, we're doing pretty good. I'm pretty proud of myself.
Oh boy.
All right, everybody. We will bring in Kurt
Mueller.
Kurt Mueller.
What's up,
Mueller.
guys?
What's going on, Kurt? Long time no see.
Yeah, I know, man.
That's the best, yeah.
It's been a minute.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So Kurt, Josh, Kurt.
Good morning.
Hey, Josh.
How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Oh, enjoying 4 days off.
Nice. Let me get my headset on.
All right.
So we can be 3 for 3 for the headset.
Yeah, I have the trucker headset. It's a better mic. So Kurt, I was told everybody in the beginning, you and I met at the Famous Dave's barbecue contest here in Michigan. They had you drive all the way up here, lug your kids around to be the quote unquote celebrity pitmaster. So you told me a little bit about your backstory, but for anybody listening, we have tens of guests or listeners, I should say. So give us a little bit backstory about you and how you got into the barbecue business, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, so originally from St. Louis, Missouri, and started barbecuing with my dad when I was like 9. So 30 plus years. Always loved cooking outside, loved just cooking over fire, over coals, whatever. And that kind of blossomed into the competition side of things 3 years ago. Me, my brother, and a buddy of mine decided to get into the competition world, found out we loved it. they have since moved on to do other things, and I realized I loved it so much that I wanted to make it a full-time gig. So September 29th last year was my last day in financial planning, and have been doing this full-time ever since. So I was fortunate enough to get invited as the quote-unquote celebrity pit master to come up there to basically Detroit and compete and finish, dead last. So that's always good. And so anyway, that's kind of the brief history. But yeah, I loved it so much that I wanted to do it full time, and it's been a fun journey. It's been a tough journey, but anytime you're growing a business, it's going to be tough.
FYI, brown gravy on lamb chops might not have been your best decision.
Probably. I mean, there was a lot of poor decisions that day. That was probably.
Hey, at the end of the day, we all had fun. I mean, it was fun though. You got to hang out. I got to meet your boys. It was awesome to meet them and see the passion that you have, that you're getting them to be into it. I mean, you do everything with your boys.
Pretty much. I mean, they love it. I mean, I do compensate them, appropriately.
A roof over their head, clothes on their back. Yeah.
Room and board.
Exactly. But no, they love helping, and then it teaches them a lot of great life skills as well, and it's a fun thing to do together, because at some point they're not going to want to hang out with their old man at all. So there's that.
Absolutely, for sure.
Most of my competition experiments I would describe as an avalanche of errors, so I understand that completely. But go ahead, Skippy. I don't want to step on your toes.
No, not at all. So you are. Your videos are awesome. You go live a lot.
Yep.
I didn't really kind of understand it until I saw a video the other day that you were set up, I believe, in front of like an insurance agent or
well, close. CPA.
CPA.
So
okay.
Just as exciting as an insurance agent.
But you're setting up roadside, like underneath a tent. You have a cargo trailer, right?
Yep.
How's that been going? I mean, you mentioned what's been your struggles?
Yeah, well, number one, I mean, the biggest struggle, and I had some coffee with a fellow barbecue brother this morning, and he asked me that question. He said, "Well, what's one of the biggest struggles that you're going to face?" I said, "Well, number one, you have to accept the fact that you're going to be underpaid for a very long time if you get paid at all, and you got to be comfortable with that." So, fortunately, my past life, I was 100% commission. It was eat what you kill kind of thing. So I'm used to that. But I think for anybody getting into the business, starting the business, that's something they have to accept, especially if they're coming from a world of, a paycheck every 2 weeks. I mean, just have so I think that's a big struggle. The second thing is, you might set up at a location and literally, I mean, one time I did $25. I
think we've all been there.
Yeah.
Makes you feel sick, doesn't it?
It does. It's not a great feeling.
Yeah.
Definitely not a great feeling.
It was a good run. That was the last day.
Pretty much.
No one wants my food anymore.
It comes down to consistency. I think a lot of folks that get into the food truck business, any food truck, any cuisine, they don't really understand that you have to be consistent with it. You could go to the same location 10 times and your revenue could be all over the board. You just have to. It's that consistency. And so I feel like it's trending in the right direction at that particular location, because I did a lot of amateur Google research on, is it better to bounce around? Is it better to set up in one location? And just from what I've understood and what I read, it seemed like it was a better idea to just have that consistent location and then mix in various locations, but always have that kind of home base of operation. Yeah. So that's the path I chose.
And that's what Josh does. Is he has it. No, you have your standard locations that you always go to, and then you have mix and match ones where I might be at one location once a week, but I go all over the place. So are you finding it tough to find locations that either have the foot traffic or the regular traffic that will stop and just buy something? Like, you being underneath a tent, do you think there's a difference between being under a tent or having a food truck? So
yes and no. I mean, I think as far as like finding the foot traffic, that that just comes down to, preparation, and it comes down to just doing your due diligence. Like a lot of that stuff, especially if it's a major thoroughfare, you can get that data in terms of like number of cars that come through there. I mean, yeah, you got to dig for it, but you can find it. But you can also just use your own eyes, go out to that location. I think having qualifying questions, when you get invited out to a neighborhood, invited out to an apartment complex, understanding the questions to ask, what other food trucks have been there? Like I always reach out to those food trucks, like, hey, how was it? Don't give me your numbers, but like, what was it profitable? Was it worth your time, or was it not worth your time? How many residents live there? What's the average home price in the neighborhood? How much is the rent? If it's an apartment complex, okay, what's the lowest amount of rent? So that can help identify, okay, yeah, this is, because barbecue inherently, at least ours, we're not the cheapest in town. We're not the $8 cheeseburger and fry. Like that's not us. So I got to be very cognizant of that. So I don't think there's necessarily an issue like finding the locations or the foot traffic. I think if you make great food, no matter what it is, people are going to come find you. They're gonna make the time to come find you. It's that simple. Now you have to build on that, right? You have to get enough reviews and enough credibility there. But yeah, I think I'm always amazed when I hear from other people, not just barbecue guys, like anybody in the mobile food truck industry, that they have a tough time finding a location. And my immediate thought is, well, you're just not looking hard enough. Like you're not
trying.
There's plenty of opportunity, right?
Yeah. And they may not all be great. And I mean, we still go to places that we don't think are going to be the best locations, but it's an area we're trying to get into, and we're trying to build, some customer base in the area for the future. So the rest of our locations are solid enough that we're like, okay, we can have a lighter day here. It's okay. It'll be all right. And we kind of pair it with a different. So we typically go somewhere different for lunch and dinner every day. Right. We'll pair it with a stronger lunch location and go to like an apartment complex that we're not sure about for dinner, and hope that we can start building a base in a new kind of area. So,
yeah.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. You talked about new areas, and I would say that the number of new customers that you get every day is a great metric to measure. It's something I look at. Yes, we all want to have those returning customers. Those are amazing. Mm-hmm. I also look at, okay, well, how many new customers am I seeing? Because those new customers are likely to tell 5-6 people. It's just kind of it builds that way. And so that's another metric that I use. On certain days where sales aren't where they need to be, I look at, okay, well, what was positive about today? Okay, well, we had 10 new customers that have never had our barbecue. So statistically, I know 1 to 2 of them are going to tell more people, right? Yeah. So that's something to hang your hat on, because you can beat yourself up on those days when it's like, oh yeah, we did $27 in sales. Fantastic. Like we didn't even cover our gas. Like this is great. So you can, that can beat you down. It can mentally wear you down, especially early on in the business when you're not used to that. You just get beat down to a pulp and you're like, screw this. This is not good. But I guess my point is, if you have something to look at, like a metric, like new customers, something positive, it helps you mentally.
It seems like you choose to look at the positive side of everything.
I try to, man. I mean, it's difficult.
And that's fine. It happens, but
Skippy's not built that way.
Listen, I have a half a broken leg right now, so there's not a lot of positive I have. But
it's not a fully broken leg. Yeah,
it's not a fully broken leg.
That's right.
Yeah, it's not fully broken.
Mm-hmm. You still got your deliveries done on Friday.
I still got my deliveries done. That's all that matters.
Lots of positive.
Still drive.
That's right.
No, I can't. That's the thing, is I can't drive. No, it's my right leg. So financial services, it's not from the way you're explaining things, it sounds like you take a analytic approach to your business. It's all about numbers for you. It's all about how you convert those numbers into either sales or what's the word I'm looking for? Opportunities. Did you take stuff from your past life and apply it towards what you're doing now?
Oh, no doubt. I mean, that was super helpful, just understanding, being a business owner, being an entrepreneur prior to doing this, you had to understand your numbers. Even if I wasn't in the financial planning world, I'd still have to understand the numbers, the profit and loss, the net margin, et cetera. but being in that world, I mean, those are the people that I helped. I worked with primarily business owners in that world. And so it taught me a lot of great things. It taught me what to do. It taught me what not to do. I still make mistakes. You know, we all make them. The mistakes aren't as damaging as they used to be, you know, early on. But yeah, it's been helpful to understand that because, again, I go back to the mental game. You know, a lot of people that get into any business for themselves, whether it's food, whether it's whatever it may be, they don't understand that, look, you're going to get rejected. You're going to have really crappy days. And there's really no one there. No one's coming to save you. Like, not happening. I mean,
We've talked about that same exact thing numerous times. Like the first podcast we talked about, you will sit on your trailer floor and probably shed a tear and think whether this is what you're going to do for the rest of your time on Earth or not. But yeah, what you're saying is 100% accurate.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if you don't have something mentally positive to hang on to, it's easy to just get beat down and get caught up in all the negativity. And okay, you know, I made $25. I got all this food wasted, blah, blah, blah. Am I doing the right thing? You know, you've got other people chirping in your ear, whether it's family and friends. Hey, are you sure you want to do this? You know, so it can be mentally, it can be extremely draining, extremely challenging sometimes to pick yourself up. But I think understanding your numbers and having something to look at. Now, I'm not saying being overly optimistic. Like at the end of the day, if you have a week of $25 days, okay, yeah, you got to reassess. You got to take a hard look in the mirror. But I guess, you know, you got to have something positive to hang on to because there are going to be those really, really bad, mentally challenging days when you don't feel like doing it. You don't want to do it. And you know what? The hardest thing is sometimes is you have the option not to do it.
Yeah.
You know, you it's not like you have to report to a boss or punch a clock. You could not do it.
Yeah.
But then of course you face the reality of, you know, it's kind of like choose your hard, you know. You know, not doing it is going to be hard in the long run. Doing it is going to be hard in the short term. So which pain are you going to select?
Exactly.
Yeah. It never ceases to amaze me. And Skippy, we saw this in the competitive barbecue world for a long time. The number of people that came from analytical backgrounds. So a lot of finance guys doing competitive barbecue, a lot of IT guys doing that kind of thing. And I think it lends itself well to barbecue because it's such a precision type of thing, with charts and graphs and, you know, need to cook this at this time. And what happens if we just change this little thing and keeping track of all that? And then it really translates well to, you know, the food truck world where you're keeping track of every little thing and having all those metrics to seek out the positives, like minute growths or minute changes in temperature that you can attribute to a difference in sales. Even like we've kept track of every possible metric we could think of from time to time, just to try to find correlations so we can plan better. Because I mean, we don't sell it, we throw it away, which sucks, you know. So if we can look at the weather, the forecast ahead, and kind of plan better, because we know that our peak temperature range for us in Michigan is 75 to 82. You know,
right?
We're gonna have peak sales during that temperature range.
And you really want a light breeze too.
Yeah, a nice light breeze, maybe some cloud cover. But yeah, I mean, so you start to you dig deep into that stuff, and I think the analytical minds really lend itself well to it. It allows us to be better prepared for that. I don't think anything prepares you for not having a paycheck. Out of my ragtag group of 4, including myself, I'm the 3rd highest paid employee. So,
right.
Yeah.
But I get time off the truck. I'm still doing 70 plus hours a week, but you know, I'm not in service all the time. So I'll take that trade off to allow me some balance. But yeah, I continually tell my staff that they make more money than I do.
Sure.
And they don't,
when they think
don't
I'm
believe you whatsoever either.
Yeah. I'm fully prepared to share W-2s with them.
Right. And that's important. I mean, that's important too. But what you said about competition barbecue is dead on the money. I mean, there's a lot of folks that come from those analytical backgrounds that love it. I would say, though, what I've seen is these competition teams, by and large, are not very good self-promoters. Yeah. Their social media is lackluster at best. And another thing I've seen is they're not really good with people. You know,
Yeah.
they can
They're
win.
quiet. Yeah.
They can
You
win a
gotta-
competition.
A
You know,
little
they can
liquid
put-
courage in them to get them to start talking to you.
Yeah, and they can put 6 great pieces of meat in a box on a bed of kale and win the grand champion. That's all well and good. That's fantastic. You know, tons of trophies. The problem is that it doesn't necessarily translate over to the business side of a food truck operation, because if you can't if you can't scale that to, you know, be able to feed 150 people consistently and deal with all the things that we deal with when we deal with people, right?
Yep.
You got there's some weird, crazy folks out there, right? And you have to grin and bear it. Like you can't, you know, you have to maintain that emotional kind of even keel, right? And not get too. And that's one thing I've seen with like the competition guys that I talk to who are like, hey, I want to make this a business. You know, my friends and family tell me I have really good food. Awesome. Happy for you. When people start paying for your food is when you're going to get real feedback.
Yeah, exactly.
Because when you're giving it away, it's always good.
Yeah, it's
It's
the
always
best food.
good.
It's the best food they ever had. Yeah,
When
that
it's
was.
free, it's always good.
It's always good.
Yeah.
All right. So when I met you, you were just getting. I mean, you had your brand, but you were really focusing on social media, and I believe you were focusing on your own. Was it rub line?
Yes.
So I see that you've gotten that started. How's that been going for you?
Good, not great. You know, I admittedly have not been pushing that into more retail locations locally, and that's
Give it a plug right now. What
Yeah.
what do we got?
Where can we get it from?
So you can get it from our website, ironheadbbq.com. And we've got 3 different rubs at the moment, and it's the 3 main proteins that we cook. So we've got brisket, which is also great on steak. I use it on our ribeyes. We've got pork rub, which of course we put on our butts, our baby back ribs, pork loin, etc. And then we've got beef rub, which is what we use on our tri-tip, beef ribs. Sometimes I'll put it on brisket, and I also use it in our baked beans. So those are the 3. You know, those are the 3 main proteins we're cooking. That's why I came out with those 3 first. And you know, we get really positive feedback on them. You know, for the most part, you know, I don't really have anybody that said I didn't like them. And it's just something I came up with. I mean, I stole a little bit from here, stole a little bit from there. I mean, let's face it. At the end of the day, nobody's reinventing the wheel anymore. It's it's salt and sugar. Like it's not. You're not gonna. I mean, you're gonna have to take from other things and make it your own.
Yep.
Absolutely, for sure.
I wanna rewind a little bit. You said you're using baby back ribs?
Yes, I
Is that
prefer
a-
those over spare ribs.
Okay. Is that regional? Are baby backs more popular down there?
Not
Do you think,
necessarily.
or
Most people.
you just
most
prefer
people,
them?
Well, I prefer them because I think, again, going back to being analytical, you know, in general, you're paying 50 cents more a pound for baby backs. But what I found is, 1, they're much easier to prep. 2, you have way more meat on that baby back than you do on a spare rib. Because I like, if I get spare ribs, I'm cutting them down St. Louis cut. I don't like that.
Right.
I don't know what the technical word
Rib
is, but
tips.
I personally don't like rib tips. So I don't cook them. But anyway, so I felt like at the end of the day, I'm getting more meat per dollar spent than I am with spare ribs. And like I said, to me, they're easier to cook, they're easier to prep. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a regional thing because I kind of judge the regional thing on what's in the grocery stores, and there's both. Like pretty much every grocery store where I live, you're going to find baby backs and spare ribs.
Okay.
Now, most people don't have a clue. I mean, I get people asking me like, well, are baby back ribs, is that beef or pork? And I'm like,
Yeah.
so they don't.
I
They
put
don't
ribs
know.
on the menu. They're like, are they beef or pork? I'm like, I haven't found anyone that serves, other than places in Texas that serve beef ribs
Right.
or halal and Dearborn. But yeah, speaking of the ribs, you've been running Dino Bones for a little while now. How those been going?
A little scary at first because I mean you're paying double, in some cases almost triple the times what you're paying for brisket.
Yeah.
But we're the only game in town. And when I looked at it, I said nobody's serving beef ribs, nobody's serving tri-tip. And I said we really have the opportunity here to set the market. And so why
for sure.
why undercut ourselves? And with with beef ribs especially, it's interesting because when I first started, it was like, I think we were charging like $22 a plate. You get a beef rib, you get two sides, and you get a roll. Now we're $35 a plate for beef ribs, and certainly our cost has gone up marginally a little bit. But
Yeah.
what I found is we're selling more beef ribs. So we basically increased our price by 50%. But people know they're really good.
Yeah.
We're the only place they can get them. And let's face it, there's a reason that these larger commercial places are not doing beef ribs. They don't want to incur the cost. That's what I hear all the time. Because I ask them, like, why don't you cost? I'm like, y'all do realize that you can pass the cost. There's this thing called passing the cost along to the customer, right? That concept. Oh, well, I'm like, fine, don't put them on the menu. I'll keep on our menu and we'll sell them. Same with tri-tip. That's definitely, I'll go out on a limb here and say we're probably the only ones in the Southeast that sell tri-tip consistently.
Yeah. It's not huge. It's not huge on this side of the world.
No, it's a West Coast thing. So to answer your question, Donna ribs have been going great. I mean, are we selling, a case a day? No, we're not. We probably average 3 to 4 plates a day. So enough to keep it consistent on our menu. Yeah, absolutely.
What has been your top seller? Like what are people coming back for?
Brisket, hands down. I would say, just off the top of my head, brisket's probably 40%, 35 to 40% of our total sales is brisket, whether it's the plate or the sandwiches or the tacos. I think it has to do with a couple things. I think number one, most people know, even if they're not even like, educated about barbecue, they know what brisket is. They a lot of people in this area have no idea what tri-tip is, which is understandable. And they really don't know what a beef dino rib is. They don't understand. But most people understand what brisket is. And so they know they can't get it around here. I don't know what it's like up in your area, but like around here, in South Carolina, Georgia, it's heavy pork, heavy chicken. Most places are pork and chicken. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got your chicken quarters, you got your spare ribs, your baby backs, pulled pork, of course, and then you've got your pork loin. That's it. So brisket is very hard to come by. At least great brisket's hard to come by.
Yeah.
'Cause a lot of places they're cook. They got 15-year-olds running the pits because they don't want to pay somebody. They want to pay somebody $12 an hour to run the pit, and the 15-year-old, they're like, okay, the boss said take the brisket off. They don't know if the brisket's done or not. They're like, well,
Right.
the boss said take it off.
Yeah.
So it's not their
Take it
fault.
off. Take it off.
Take it off. Yeah. So
Let it cook for 12 hours. Take it off.
Take it off, and they don't. There's no probe in it. There's all right. Take it off, slice it up, and then boom. So a lot of times around here, brisket is way undercooked. And so when you know how to cook brisket, people are like, oh my God, this is fantastic. And we only cook, the lowest I'll cook is prime. I won't cook anything lower than that. Lately I found myself getting Wagyu because there's a fire sale on it. So I'm like, hey, let's load up. I buy it wholesale from a distributor. Let's load me up on it. And you have to be blind to screw up a Wagyu brisket. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, there's so much fat in there.
What are you paying per pound for that?
$4 a pound.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, A5 Wagyu.
Oh.
Well,
What?
I'm waiting for.
That's on sale. That's when it goes on a fire sale and they got to move inventory. Now I
I'm
don't
waiting
know
for
what
comments.
I was gonna say, do they deliver? Like shit.
No,
Yeah.
they don't deliver. I got to go pick it up, but the warehouse is only 12 minutes from me. So,
Skippy, I don't know. You and I
Ship?
pick up truck down to Georgia. We can get there and back in a day.
yeah, get your tip. I mean,
Son of a- wow. We were just talking before you jumped in about what we've been paying, and it's anywhere from, for choice right now, it's $3.98 for, prime. It's $4.20 to $4.40. Like,
are you guys buying Sam's, Costco? Where are you buying?
Sam's, Costco.
Yeah, Costco for me.
I mean, even Restaurant Depot's $4.20 for choice.
Well, and I don't even know if it's possible, but one of the best things I did was I found a local beef. All they do is beef, and they sell wholesale. I found them, and that's one of the best things I ever did because
Is it like a local farm or just a distributor?
Well, they are an exclusive distributor for several local farms in
Okay.
Georgia, and
Gotcha.
they're doing anywhere. But I mean, they're in the grand scheme of things, like on a national scale, they're small, but locally they're huge. I mean, they're doing 1,000 to 1,200 head a day.
Okay.
So it's,
Yeah.
but compared to like IBP, Tyson,
Yeah.
Right.
National Beef, I mean, those guys are doing 1,000 head an hour probably.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
You know,
Makes sense.
so, but the point is number one, you get a great product because all they do is beef, but two, you get,
You built
get
that
payment-
relationship.
well, yeah, and you get payment terms with them, right? So you're not having to front that. You get,
Yeah.
they invoice you, and now you can go prep it, sell it, and then pay them. So to me, that helps with cash flow.
I understand.
But yeah, relationships are huge too. Absolutely.
Now,
Hmm.
how long have you been in South Carolina for now?
So let's see. I've lived here since, went to college in Charleston, 01, 05, and then moved back in 2011. So I've been here ever since 2011. So
Okay.
yeah, 13 years.
So have you used like your contacts from your financial services world to try to help you with this business?
Not really, no. I mean, it's kind of happened by default, but I didn't really target them. This is interesting, right? The people that you think are going to help you when you start a new business are the ones that don't, and the ones that you're like, oh, you never even gave them any thought, like they're not going to help you, are the ones that like
Promote
are pushing,
you and
absolutely. Promote you, and it's like, so I really never even relied on those connections. I mean, now by default, it helped that I knew a lot of people to build out like the social media presence. That helps, right? But knowing a lot of people, that's one thing I'll say is knowing a lot of people and having all these likes and followers doesn't really mean anything. Like a lot of people think, well, if I get likes and followers, like that's going to lead to more business. It can. I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm not saying it doesn't help, but like don't get lulled into this false sense of security that, oh, I'm building my social media presence. Like this is okay, but they actually have to buy from you because likes and followers doesn't pay the bills. So, you got to convert them over. So anyway, to answer your question, no, I haven't really relied on those. Some of them I've just come by default, but hadn't really targeted them. I would say it's our consistent posting on social media and also in those, local food truck groups, posting there because people are going there to find food trucks. So they end up contacting me about various things. And then eventually that builds to the point where, and you probably experienced this, you've been doing this a lot longer than I have. Now you can start telling people no. Like, well, in the beginning, you're like, yeah, I'll take everything. Like, whatever I can do.
I probably wouldn't have a half broken leg if I would have told the lady no.
There you go. Well, now you know.
What? So your catering side, I know we're running close on time, but your catering side has picked up. Is it doing well? Is it kind of? Are you making more contacts with your catering?
Without question, and I think the food truck side drives that, right? I mean, let's face it, like, for the small catering jobs, somebody has a party, it's $500 job, delivery only, whatever. Okay, not a big deal. They may or may not have tried your food, but maybe they know somebody that has. But when we're talking those larger catering jobs, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $10,000 jobs, like nobody's paying that kind of money unless they have tried your food and unless they have talked to people who have tried your food. And so I think that's where that food truck operation helps drive that, because it allows people to invest a little bit of money, time with you, try your food and say, okay, this is great. I've got a wedding coming up. I've got a birthday party, whatever. Yeah, this is really good. It also, the other thing that it does, I think, is indirectly, because you're getting those reviews, like your Google and your Facebook reviews, that is going to also help the catering side as well. And I'm somebody that I'm always asking for feedback. I literally so everybody that bought food for me on 4th of July, because we did pick up only whole cuts of meat. That's it. I didn't run the food truck. I just did.
Yeah.
I've started reaching out to each one of them to say, how are things? Do you have any constructive feedback? What did you like? What didn't you like? And they appreciate that. And if they say, hey, everything was great, it was awesome, I say, hey, would you mind leaving us a Google review? Here's our link. And 9 times out of 10, they're like, absolutely. So
I lost you.
We lost your audio.
Oh, there we go. Sorry.
there you
Am I back?
Yep, you're good.
somebody was calling me. So anyway, but where I was going with that is, you know, you build up that credibility with the food truck. People try your food, and you get those reviews, and now you start getting those opportunities that are bigger and bigger and bigger on the catering side. Because ultimately, you know, catering from a margin standpoint is where it's at, right? We all know that. That's where your best margin is. Well, it should be. Your best margin should be.
Guaranteed money always works out the best.
Yep.
Well, all right. Before we let you go, give our people who are listening where they can find you, your socials and your website.
Absolutely. So you guys can check us out on social media, on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, X, formerly Twitter, and we are at Ironhead BBQ. And then our website is ironheadbbq.com. So I keep everything really, really simple. So yeah, you can find us there. Working on our YouTube channel at the moment, but for now you can find us on those channels. And yeah, give us a like, give us a follow, check us out. I know that I need to focus on more how-to videos. So that's my goal for, what is this? I guess now we're in the third quarter. Third quarter goal is to do more how-to videos instead of just my ugly face on live telling you where we are.
Well, Kurt, I appreciate you being on with us. You have a podcast too, don't you?
I do, although I'll tell you right now it's dormant because I've decided to invest my time and money into the food truck side.
I gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, it's the barbecue life. It is dormant at the moment. I don't think we haven't published anything since March. I left it open because I do want to pick it up again at some point.
There's some good episodes on there. You might find somebody that you might know on there.
Bingo. That's right. Yeah. This Bert guy. I don't know if you're history.
Way back in the day.
That's right.
Well, we appreciate it, bud. Thanks for being on it. Good luck in the future. Just keep doing what you're doing and kick ass.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Kurt. Have a good day.
See you, Kurt.
All right, you too. Take care. Bye-bye.
Maybe. He's frozen, but I still see him.
I do too. I don't know if he's laughing at us or not. I think that was a good perspective. I mean, somebody who's new, but somebody who basically quit his financial services job to be a barbecuer. I mean, it took over his life, and that's what he chose to do. I think it's really cool.
Okay.
Did you like manually kick him out?
No, I think I went in to try to do that, but I think it finally just went. Yeah,
good guy though. I wish him the best.
Good job, good conversation. Good guess, Skippy.
We have some comments about $4 a pound Wagyu brisket.
Not really. I'm surprised there wasn't, but
JT.
Steve Rodriguez had a couple questions. One about social media and those awful, your account's going to be deactivated messages. Want to know what to do about those. Never, ever click on a link in those messages, please.
Those are all fake.
It's all fake. It's all, you will know if Facebook has a problem with you. Trust me. You can always contact support directly. There's a support.
Yeah, they will never IM you. They will never DM you. They will never.
Yep.
You'll
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you get flagged for anything, you'll know for sure. But yeah, you can always contact support directly too and ask them if there's a problem with your account, and they will get back to you. And then Steve also said, Darren this morning said, without catering, it would be hard to grow. Absolutely. Yeah. Without the catering money coming in. Yeah. I mean, I think it would be hard to foresee a future where we're considering 2 trucks or, a brick and mortar walk up type of thing. So, yeah, catering is kind of the foundation of our sales. And then the roadside's the cherries on top, hopefully you can get some good ones. We're trying to weasel our way into a festival that's begging for trucks right now in 2 weeks that we're willing to reorganize the schedule a little bit. But, so yeah, hopefully that works. And it's in our Southern Territory, which we're starting to get some more stuff down there and requests down there. So hopefully that all works out and we can get in there.
By the way, Kurt cooks on the Deep South.
Oh, he does?
Yeah, we didn't even talk to him.
Oh, damn it. Wonder how many shoots he's gone through.
I know he cooks on a little. He cooks on a small one too.
Yeah? Good Lord. He's cooking all that freaking food on a small one?
I think a 20. I think a 28.
We can only fit like 3 dino ribs on there.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, good show.
Yeah, good show.
All right, goodbye.
About time you come up with a guest. Just saying. All guests have been mine, except for the one food truck dude, food truck expo fella.
All guests have been yours.
Who else did you bring on?
Oh my God. I have to do all the rest of the work for this thing. Is it that much to ask that you do a little bit of work?
Absolutely. I don't mind bringing on guests.
Okay.
I'll bring on guests all the time.
Then stop complaining about your
I'm only complaining
duties.
because I just touched my knee in the wrong direction. So
Jesus fucking Christ, I gotta do fucking everything on this thing. Goddamn thing.
you're getting all the money from it. If I had your money, I'd burn mine. Shit.
If you had my money, you'd burn yours.
I'd burn mine.
I don't have any money.
Go shake the tree. Go shake the tree.
It's right there. My money tree is right there, and it's starting to die. Right there, that leaf they're coming off.
I have my biggest festival of the year this weekend.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks,
Josh's guy from the Food Truck Association. Thank you very much. I have had other people on. So fuck you.
Correct, but you can't get Patty Matters on.
When she's doing $100,000 in sales every month, her time's a little.
Her time's a little value.
Yeah. So she said they average 70 to 90 during the summer and 40 through the winter. If I could do 40 through the winter, I'd consider it.
I wonder if she has business partners.
No. She has a whole lot of staff.
And that's fine. Yeah, I can understand that. The one thing I didn't ask Kurt was about the rules in South Carolina. Him cooking out of a trailer, like or setting up underneath the tent, whether he has to cook in a trailer or whether he has to use a commissary.
Yeah.
I didn't ask him about that. It'd been good to know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right.
Well,
let's wrap this.
I think we're over.
Yeah.
We're out.
Let's wrap this thing up. I know I am back to a fairly regular scheduled week for roadside stuff and festival stuff. So it should be an interesting conversation next week, as Skippy has done nothing except for writhe around in pain.
I have a plan. I have a plan for this weekend. If it works, I have a plan.
Hopefully Skippy has hired somebody by then.
I'm not going to say I hired somebody. I have some helpers that are willing to help me.
Uh-huh.
One of our guys, Chad. The problem is I can't drive, so I got to figure out how to take the trailer to where it needs to go. So I think the idea is to cook Thursday, have it ready for Friday. Yeah, I think that might be I might not make as much as I want, but we'll
all right.
We'll figure it out. Anyway,
all right, everybody. Have a good week. We will see you next week, Monday. Same food truck channel. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
All right. Make sure you follow us and like us everywhere. The TikTok, the Facebooks, the YouTubes. Everywhere, please. Skippy's next guest, an orthopedic surgeon. All right.
I would have dropped a phone call for that. Just.
All right, everybody. Have a good week. Talk to you soon.